Okay, we're going to listen to a poem today, and the poem is by a poet named Shel Silverstein. And I think you should know a little bit about a poet. We're not going to really read about him, but I am going to tell you a little bit about him. This is his website, and on his website, he has things you can choose to do if you want to find his website and look it up. And there are some pictures of Shel on the website. Now, he wrote his first book in 1963, but then he wrote a second book that you probably know, and it's called The Giving Tree. And it's a very sad book, and no one wanted to publish it. It took 4 years for him to find someone who would publish his story. And they said it was too sad, or that it was more like between a little kid and an adult. But finally, he found someone to publish it. And he said, well, you know what? Life is not always fun or funny. And sometimes it is sad. And so he thought it was okay for it to end sad. But the poem that we're going to look at today, it is not sad. The poem we're going to look at today is called Sick. And it is funny. It's a humorous poem. So I want you to listen to the poem. And I want you to listen to some kids reading the poem. It's way more fun when they read it.
Sick by Shel Silverstein. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy and McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gastric rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks, I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue, it might be enzymatic flu. I cough, I sneeze, I gasp, I choke, I'm sure that my leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin, my belly button's caving in. My back is wedged, my ankles sprained, my appendix pain seats time and waits. My nose is cold, my toes are numb, I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak, I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth, I think my hair is falling out. My elbows bent, my spine ain't straight, my temperature is 108. My brain has shrunk, I cannot hear, there is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that? What's that you said? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play.
Okay, so that is your poem, and you have a job to do with this poem today. Your job is going to be to summarize the poem. So I have a question for you. How can I summarize the poem Sick? Well, I can summarize the poem by thinking about who it's about and what it's about. So we're going to summarize it together. You don't have to write it exactly like I write it, but I do want you to summarize the poem today. So I want you to think about, who is this poem about? So this is, what kind of poem? Is it sad? Is it funny? Yeah, and I don't want to just use a plain old word like funny. So let's use humorous. This is a humorous poem. About who? Because I told you to think about who it's about. Oh, it is about a little girl named what? Her name is really only in there, I think, once. Do you remember it? You might have to look back at your poem. Your poem is right there. You can look at it in front of you. Her name is Peggy Ann McKay. And it's a name, so I'm going to capitalize it. It's a proper noun. Peggy Ann McKay. This is a humorous poem about a little girl named Peggy Ann McKay. What is it about? What's she trying to do? Oh, she wants to stay home from school, doesn't she? Now, what kind of little girl is she? What character trait would you give her? Let's be specific about her. Would you say she's mischievous? All right, she is a mischievous. Hopefully I spelled that right. I seem to always spell that wrong. She is a mischievous girl. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Let's see if we can figure out how to spell it. Let's undo it. Nope. Okay, that's right. She is a mischievous girl who, what does she do? She pretends to be sick. Who pretends to be sick. And what's another word for sick? A synonym. Ill. Let's put ill. I like that word. Who pretends to be ill. Why? So she can stay home from school. Yes, she pretends to be ill, comma, so she can stay home from school. All right. Now, I put a comma here because I'm connecting there and I'm using the word so to connect. So I kind of want to slow the reader down just for a second. Now let's read that again and see if we have everything or do we need something else. This is a humorous poem about a little girl named Peggy Ann McKay. So that's who it's about. And what is it about? She's a mischievous girl who pretends to be ill so she can stay home from school. Now, there's a little more to it. What is the ending about? Oh, she stops pretending. Why? When does she stop pretending? When she realizes it's Saturday. Okay. She stops pretending when she realizes it is Saturday. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, I want you to do something else. You may have never done this before. I want you to look at your summary and I want you to find the one word that you think is most important. That's really what the poem is about. So, read your summary, and yours doesn't have to be exactly like mine. And we're going to summarize using one word. This is a humorous poem about a little girl named Peggy Ann McKay. She is a mischievous girl. I think I'm going to highlight my repeated words. Let me see if I can find a little color down here. I think I can use these little tools. Okay, so I've got girl, and I've got girl. She pretends to be ill so she can stay home from school. She stops pretending. Oh, I've got the word pretends. I've got in pretends and pretending, and that's the same. So I could down here, I'm down to 2 words. I could type my 2 words and decide which of those words I like the best. Which one do you think it's more about? Or do you need them both? So put the word that you think is most important down here. I think I'm going to use pretends. Pretend. Now, or pretends. Okay, so you come up with your word, and we're going to put our words up. I don't think everyone should have the same word I have, but we're going to put our words up, and we're going to vote on the word we think is best. the word that best summarizes the whole meaning of the poem. So you can come up here now. Let me get my little pen off. And oh my goodness, I cannot get my pen off. Well, if I can't get my pen off, I can't do this, but I'm going to come to File and I'm going to name this. And so you can name it Poem or Sick, and then it will save in your drive. All right, pick your word today and send it to us.